You know what frustrates me? Slow-moving technology. Like we're working on this new feature and it's taking forever, and if we can't ship it, then all of our hard work will have been for nothing. So how do we speed up the development process without sacrificing quality? Well, in this video, I'll share with you 3 steps that you can take to make better strategic decisions around slow developing technology. Let's get into it. The first step is to establish your minimum viable timeline. What's that? Well, based on the current development progress, what is the earliest date that you could reasonably expect to ship? Here's how to figure that out. First, look at the analytics for your most recent release. What was the average time between when you merged the code into the main branch and when it got released to production? Next, estimate how many features are left to build. Then use that average time to extrapolate out the timeline for the entire remaining work. Of course, you need to account for any holidays or vacations coming up. But assuming a relatively normal development cycle, you should be able to come up with a reasonable estimate for your minimum viable timeline. Now that you have that, you can start to think about what your options are. Are there any tasks that you can pull from the backlog? Things like fixing typos or adding comments probably won't move the needle much. Or removing major bugs or adding automated tests could save you time in the long run. Of course, you might also consider just waiting a bit longer before you ship. That way you can avoid some of the issues that might cause friction later on. But what if no amount of optimization or waiting is going to be enough? Well, that brings me to the second step. Talk to your stakeholders and find out if your timeline is realistic. Oftentimes, we get so caught up in the details of development that we lose sight of the bigger picture. Taking a step back to evaluate your progress against the business objectives is critical to staying on track. If you're not hitting your targets, then it's time to have a conversation with the people who can help you prioritize. Be prepared to share your rationale, including any roadblocks or risks that could impact the project. If the feedback is positive, then great. Continue on with the development process. However, if they tell you to slow down, then you need to pivot quickly. Prioritizing other initiatives over your current project is never fun, but it's important to remember that sometimes it's necessary to make tough choices. Sooner than later, you'll either be able to make significant progress towards your goals or reallocate resources to where they are most needed. Speaking of which, now is a good time to mention that sometimes slow-moving technology isn't actually a bad thing. If you're working on a bleeding-edge technology that has a lot of hype, but hasn't necessarily been battle-tested yet, then you might want to take a wait-and-see approach. That way you can let the early adopters figure out any kinks in the system and iron out any major issues before committing too much time and energy yourself. This strategy is especially useful if you're working on a project with a long time horizon. For example, let's say that you're developing a new feature that will ship in 18 months. Even if the initial development process is slow, that doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't proceed with the project. After all, you have plenty of time to make up for it. The key here is to set realistic expectations and communicate them clearly to your stakeholders. Let them know that you're aware of the challenges and you're taking steps to mitigate them. If everyone is on board, then you can move forward with confidence. But what if the technology is mission critical and there's no room for delay? Well, that's where the third step comes in. Evaluate whether or not you should invest in infrastructure improvements. Sometimes slow-moving technology is a symptom of a larger issue. It could be that you need to upgrade your hardware, improve your software, or implement better processes. Investing in these areas could pay off big time by speeding up the development process and reducing the likelihood of roadblocks down the line. However, it's important to weigh the costs and benefits carefully. If the ROI isn't there, then it might not be worth it. Fortunately, there are tools available to help you make this decision. One popular option is the TCO, or Total Cost of Ownership model. This framework takes into account all of the costs associated with owning and maintaining a particular technology. It considers factors such as purchase price, operating expenses, and even the opportunity cost of using one technology over another. By using a tool like TCO, you can get a clear picture of the financial implications of your decision and make a more informed choice. Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to invest in infrastructure improvements is a strategic one. It involves weighing the potential benefits against the costs and risks and choosing a path that aligns with your overall business objectives. There you have it. 3 steps to help you make better strategic decisions around slow-moving technology. Do you have any other tips? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.